Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of Little Modular. Today we will take a look at this mysterious module called Static by a Romanian company Feedback Modules. You know them well if you have watched my previous reviews. If you have not, I strongly encourage you to do so, because Feedback Modules is offering a wealth of really interesting and cheap modules. That's one of the simplest modules you will ever come across. Nonetheless, it is really interesting and could be really useful because it is noise source. It gives you different kinds of noises, which might seem like nothing much, but it is really useful in any setup. And let's not forget, noise is the source of all of the sounds. Noise is the sound of chaos, and we all emerged from chaos. So this is the DNA of all of the sounds. Enough. Come back. Reality check. This module is divided in 3 sections, upper one, middle one, and the lower one. In the upper section, we have 2 kinds of noises, white noise and pink noise. And as you can see here, above the jacks, it says MS for a reason. These 2 noise sources are heavily inspired by the Korg MS-10 noise section. I was told by designer Andrei Straton, who is the main force behind Feedback Modules, that these are really close to the original. And this is how they sound like. That's the white noise. I personally really like that kind of noise. It reminds me of a shower, of a gentle breeze. It's quite relaxing. Now the other kind of noise from the same vein, from the same core, is a pink noise. It's a duller noise than the white noise. That's how the sound of red cells flowing through your body sounds like. I like to imagine. So below again we have white and pink, but this time you can see the ZN above both of these sockets. It stands for Zener diodes, and it is heavily inspired by the noise from Poly Fusion modular systems. I have also reviewed 2 filters that are inspired by the very same modular system, high fusion here and the low fusion of the camera. Very cool, smooth and precise filters, check them out. And that's how the white and pink from this modular system sounds like. White and pink. And if you compare this to MS-10, it sounds different. Listen to the white from the Poly Fusion and white from MS-10. The Poly Fusion seems like more vivid, like a bit louder and more aggressive, I would say. Maybe it's just louder. No, it is different. Pink from Poly Fusion and pink from Korg. Here we have a typical random voltage output, but below here is a really interesting socket I personally adore. It's called Dark. And to hear this, you either need some good headphones or a sub or a decent set of speakers, because it's really low, like really, really low rumble. I like to call it infra low sounds. And I find it quite relaxing. It reminds me of the sensation you get when you submerge your head underwater. The sense of being inside a womb. That's how I also imagine a sound of open space out there. Call me a freak, but I just like to listen to it for minutes. But right here is a really nice combination of those two, of dark and pink. It's called morph. So if I connect to this one, in this position I'm getting dark noise, but in this one I'm getting more and more of a pink, so it's kind of like a balance between those two up until it's only pink. Okay, and the last two kinds of noises are digital noises, and you get them from the lowest section. We can have the TR noise, which is derived from the TR-808 noise, and below we have a chip noise, which, as far as I remember, is derived from the old CD players. Whatever, it sounds super vintage and crunchy. Listen to it. That's the TR noise, and we decide upon the spectral balance of this noise with this knob right here. Basically, it gives you a dollar more pixelated, I like to say, sound, darker and higher noise right here. If we switch to the chip, it's more digital, like from the old personal computers, like super vintage, crunchy digital sounds. It reminds me of another noise module by Ericsson's Black Code Source. Super nice module also for this kind of sounds. Okay? But now we can ask, alright, so that's cool that you got really excited about different kind of noises, you old freak, but how can I actually make any use of those noises? Well, for starters, it's an excellent source of percussive sounds. For instance, if I connect this to a simple VCA, in my case right here is the UVCA by IntelliGel, okay, like so. Let's just start with simple white noise. The VCA is triggered by Ericsson's down here, which goes to Matt's, and Matt's envelope is triggering the VCA. So let's shorten it a bit. So as you can hear, it's a really nice hi-hat. If we modulate the release parameter on Matt's, you can get some really dynamic, vivid hi-hat. Let's try it with the pink. Yet different sound. Let's try it with the morph. Okay, sounds almost like a really weird tribal kick, which I really like personally. Really growly, sounds like it's almost distorted, but it's not. And if I turn the balance to the pink, okay, now if I shorten the release, mats. Just listen, it's dozens of really interesting percussive sounds. And all I have used here is just the noise source and a VCA with an envelope. That's it. That's all there is to it. Let's check out the digital noises, shall we? Again, let's shorten the decay. Let's see how it sounds in the TR mode. Oh, that is very nice. Okay, you can get some metallic sounds, hi-hatish, snarish sounds, depending on the decay release of your envelope. If we now make the attack longer, it's just some nice noise bursts, which can be also useful depending on the context. As usual, what we could do now, for instance, is we can try to plug this to some filter, like high fusion, for instance. Now, instead of going directly from the static to the VCA and the mixer, let's go from the white noise to the high fusion in right here, and from the high fusion we're gonna plug into the VCA. Okay, same combination plus the high fusion. By the way, there is another filter from feedback module, LP Fat, super nice, which I'll also review really soon. Now I can apply some high pass filtering, as you can hear, and I find this filter, particularly high fusion, super useful with different percussive sounds, okay, because it's really smooth and precise. Can you hear the sizzle? It adds to the sound. Even at extremely high resonance settings, it is still precise and tamed and really smooth. Now we can of course apply all typical tricks, like applying some FM modulation, like so, and you know, just changing the variables, maybe changing the sound here. Again, adjusting attack and release. Changing the spectral balance. So as you can see, super simple to use and very useful in any system. I use it for drums, for drones, for beefing up some other sounds, adding some textures as a random source. Many different uses. And last but not least, I adore this steampunk design of all of the feedback modules. And again, it's super cheap. So if you're looking for a nice noise source, check it out. And remember, my friends, it all started with the noise, and it will end with the noise.